Piastri emphasized that qualifying in F1 2025 leaves no room for error. Lewis Hamilton has once again become the center of attention, but not for his on-track performance. Instead, it's his words and body language off the track that have drawn heavy criticism. Williams' plan for 2027. Williams team principal James Vowles has already set his sights on the 2027 Formula One season, and the focus is clear: keeping Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz Jr. in the team beyond 2026.
Welcome to AFS News. Now, you're going to be the first to know the hottest F1 news on the grid, and you'll be the most knowledgeable about F1 compared to your friends. Okay, no more small talk, let's dive right in, and don't forget to subscribe.
Piastri admits qualifying is his weak spot that must be fixed. Oscar Piastri may be leading the 2025 Formula One World Championship, but he openly admits there is still a big gap in his performance: qualifying. The McLaren driver from Australia stressed that success on Saturday is the key to transforming Sunday's races, something he still sees as unfinished business. Piastri did not hesitate to blame himself for making many races tougher last year, often starting from less than ideal grid positions. I made a lot of races harder than I wanted them to be last year, so trying to improve that naturally makes a lot of races look very different to what I had last year, Piastri said. For him, improvements in tyre management, which were once seen as his main progress, are no longer the decisive factor. He believes his real weakness lies in pure qualifying speed. I think the improvement has been a little bit better. I feel like from 2023 to 2024, I made quite a big step in terms of tyre management. But ultimately, there were still some weekends where it wasn't tyre management anymore, it was just the speed I needed. Piastri emphasized that qualifying in F1 2025 leaves no room for error. With margins so razor-thin, pole position is often decided by hundredths of a second, not tenths. We are talking about margins that are so small, especially this year. We've had so many qualifying sessions decided by less than a tenth that you really have to try and find hundredths from wherever you can. That is why his attention is no longer limited to technical data, but also to mental strength, physical conditioning, and communication with the team. Clearly, there's a lot of focus on the data points and how I can change my driving slightly, but also just trying to be better in every aspect, whether that's from a mental standpoint, a physical standpoint, how I drive the car, how I get the most out of the team around me. With 10 rounds remaining and only a slim points advantage over Lando Norris, Piastri knows one thing for certain. Every qualifying session could decide not just the race, but the outcome of his first ever World Championship bid. Lewis Hamilton has once again become the center of attention, but not for his on-track performance. Instead, it's his words and body language off the track that have drawn heavy criticism. His first season with Ferrari has been far from expectations. The seven-time world champion even described himself as useless and suggested Ferrari should find another driver. Such statements shocked fans and pundits alike. Among those voicing their concern was Matteo Bobbi, a former GT champion and Sky Italia commentator. Speaking to Gazzetta, he said, "I'm disappointed. I want to see him always with broad shoulders in interviews, with the awareness of being a seven-time world champion." This criticism came after the Hungarian Grand Prix, where Hamilton only qualified P12, while his teammate Charles Leclerc took pole. In the race, Leclerc finished fourth, once again outperforming Hamilton, who failed to score points after finishing 12th. And while Hamilton did show flashes of brilliance earlier this year, including a sprint race win in China from pole, the overall first half of the 2025 season has been deeply underwhelming for him. Bobby insisted Hamilton must remember his true identity as a champion. Hamilton must be the first person not to forget who he is. Lewis is still capable of going fast. He just needs to open up, especially mentally. A positive result is enough and everything will be different. Bobby continued by acknowledging that Hamilton has indeed brought value to Ferrari, but the Briton himself feels he hasn't delivered his best. I think Hamilton has done well for the team, bringing his vision, the vision of a champion who is used to winning with a team whose methods are very different from Ferrari. And also to Leclerc, giving him more awareness of his speed. It's he himself who feels he hasn't played well. According to Bobby, Hamilton hasn't lost motivation, but frustration has taken over. He has not lost motivation, not like him. Frustrated, yes. Previously, all his gestures and habits turned into success. Now, that no longer happens. And now doubts arise within Lewis. Will I be able to go back to what I was before? This is the crux of the criticism. Hamilton, with all his reputation and history, appears to be losing his way at Ferrari. It's not just about his speed on track, but also about the mentality and energy he projects off it. As Formula One resumes after the summer break with the Dutch Grand Prix, the big question remains, can Hamilton rise again with the mentality of a true champion, or will he remain trapped in self-doubt? Williams' plan for 2027. Williams team principal James Vowles has already set his sights on the 2027 Formula One season, and the focus is clear, keeping Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz Jr. in the team beyond 2026. Both drivers' contracts will expire at the end of 2026, a crucial year with the arrival of new F1 regulations. That's why Vowles wants to move early, before the driver market becomes too chaotic. Speaking to Sky Sports, he explained, "I think at the end of 2026 there will be a lot of movement in the driver market. Many contracts will end at that time. The simple answer is this: I have two drivers who believe in what we are doing in terms of the team's longevity, the team's investment, and the direction to return to winning championships." This shows Vowles' strategy. It's not only about building a fast car, but also about securing loyalty. He knows Albon and Sainz are valuable assets, and rival teams will certainly try to lure them away. But what can Williams offer that others can't? Vowles pointed out the sense of belonging. "My job in all of this is to make sure they are fairly rewarded for that journey, and that they also want to be part of that journey. That's what I can provide and offer them." So the key message here is clear: Williams wants to give their drivers more than just money. They want to give them a role in shaping the team's future. Vowles is realistic, though. He knows big offers will come from elsewhere. As he put it, "Now, if someone else wants to offer double the money, that's their decision to do something else." Instead of fighting in a salary war, Williams is trying to sell something more unique: influence and leadership. Vowles stressed how important both drivers are to the team's development. They are key leaders here who have a direct impact on what the car will look like tomorrow and what the car will look like in a year's time, something that not many drivers on the grid have. In many teams, they are treated almost as a separate asset, a separate entity. That's not what we offer here. This is a subtle but sharp criticism of how bigger teams sometimes treat drivers as replaceable pieces. At Williams, the idea is different. Sainz and Albon are architects of the car, not just racers. Finally, Vowles made it clear that talks won't be delayed. The second part is making sure we have conversations early enough in 2026 to talk about where I want us to be in the future, rather than letting it drag on until the summer break. Do it earlier. From a critical perspective, Williams is taking a big gamble. They are betting on loyalty and long-term vision instead of short-term money. If this approach works, Williams could enter the 2027 regulation era with stability and strong leadership. But the question remains, will Albon and Sainz stay patient and committed, or will they be tempted by bigger, faster offers from rival teams? That's the real challenge waiting for Williams.